Let's discuss the questions number 1. These questions will be about domain number 1, business value. The questions is follows. Which component of the Secure Access Service Edge or SASE solutions provide complete sessions protections regardless of whether a user is on or off the corporate networks? Questions number 2. The questions number 2 still about the business value, and the questions is follows. Which infrastructure element prevents employee and devices from accessing malicious websites? Enforce acceptable use policies before users can access the internet and block inappropriate content. The questions number 3. These questions will be about domain 2, competitive differentiators. The questions is follows. What is benefit of the Palo Alto Networks Secure Access Service Edge SASE solutions? Ability to provide insight into SD-WAN and network security metrics while highlighting critical issues across all managed tenants. The question number 4. The question number 4 will be about the domain 3, architecture and planning. And the question is follows. How does the Palo Alto Networks Secure Access Service Edge or SASE solutions enable zero trust in a customer environment? The questions number 5 still about the domain 3, architecture and planning. And the question is follow. What are two-way service connections and remote network connections default? Choose 2. Hello everyone, welcome to 591 Lab. Today's topics, we will discuss about some questions from Palo Alto Networks PSE-SASE professionals. The PSE-SASE professional is the certification from Palo Alto Networks that validates your technical knowledge of the SASE products and services.
Before we start, let me introduce you about the 591 Lab. 591lab.com is the top IT training and certification exam brand in China, Hong Kong, Taiwan, and Singapore. Our mission at 591 Lab is to provide our clients with exceptional exam preparation experience for certification in Cisco, Huawei, Aruba, Juniper, Palo Alto, and Fortinet exam threads. If you have any queries or questions about how to advance your technology career, please don't hesitate to contact us at 591lab.com.
Today's topics, we will be covering some of the SASE questions. The first one is the business values, and then competitive differentiators, architecture and planning, demonstration and evaluation, and the last one is networks security best practice. Let's discuss the questions number 1. These questions will be about domain number 1, business value. The questions is follows. Which component of the Secure Access Service Edge or SASE solutions provide complete sessions protections regardless of whether a user is on or off the corporate networks? The options will be A. Zero trust, or B. Threat prevention, or C. Single pass architecture, or D. DNS security. To answer the questions number 1, we can look from the study guide of the SASE professional. We have this study guide to help us to prepare the exams of the SASE, so we can check how SASE security model can help our organization. We can do the flexibility with the cloud-based infrastructure. We can cost saving, we can reduce complexity, we can increase performance, and we can employ the zero trust. The zero trust approach to the cloud remove trust assumptions when users, device, and application connect. A SASE solution provides complete session protection regardless of whether user is on or off the corporate networks. The answer for the questions number 1 is zero trust. With that, we know that the answer for the questions number 1 is A. Let's discuss the questions number 2. The questions number 2 still about the business value, and the questions is follows. Which infrastructure element prevents employee and devices from accessing malicious websites? Enforce acceptable use policies before users can access the internet and block inappropriate content. And the options will be A. Zero Trust Network Access, or ZTNA, or B. Firewall as a Service, or FWaaS, or C. Secure Web Gateway, or SWG, or D. Data Loss Prevention, or DLP, or E. Cloud Access Security Broker, or CASB. And so, which one is the correct for the infrastructure element? We can check from the study guide whether the SASE solution can provide the security services. So here is the following security services that are delivered through the SASE solution. The first one is Zero Trust Network Access. The ZTNA applies for the Zero Trust philosophy for never trust, always verify. So the users need to authenticate to access the cloud, restricting access and minimizing the risk of data loss. And then we can provide SASE solution for Firewall as a Service, or FWaaS, provide next generation firewall features in the cloud, which remove the need for physical hardware at branch and retail locations. And then Secure Web Gateway, or SWG. This is prevents employee and devices from accessing malicious websites. Enforce acceptable use policy before users can access the internet and block inappropriate content. And then data loss prevention, protect sensitive data from being shared or misused by authorized users and alert key stakeholders when policy are violated. And then the last one, we can use SASE for Cloud Access Security Broker. This technology gives organization visibility into where their data reside, enforce company policy for user access, and protects data against unauthorized access. So from each of the solution or security services that provided by SASE, we know that the element that can protect the user to access the internet is the Secure Web Gateway. Then the answers for the questions number 2 will be C, the Secure Web Gateway. Let's discuss the questions number 3. These questions will be about the domain 2, competitive differentiators. The questions is follows. What is benefit of the Palo Alto Networks Secure Access Service Edge SASE solutions? Ability to provide insight into SDWAN and network security metrics while highlighting critical issues across all managed tenants. The options are follows. A. It re-architects the way signatures are delivered, performing updates and streaming them to the firewalls within seconds after the analysis is done. Or B. It helps protect inbound, outbound, and east-west traffic between container workload types in Kubernetes environment without slowing development speed. Or C, it simplifies workflow and instantly automates common use cases with hundreds of pre-built playbooks. Or D, it helps managed service provider or MSP, accelerates troubleshooting, and with service level agreement or SLA for all their customers. From these options, we can check each of the options. The first one, A, it re-architect the way signatures are delivered. It's not the ability of the SASE, because this is the firewall's ability, so it's not the answer. And B, it helps protect inbound, outbound, and east-west traffic between container workload types in Kubernetes environment without slowing development speed. This is not the SASE solution ability, because this is the ability of the Prisma cloud, and this is not the answers. And C, it simplify workflow and instantly automate common use case. And this not the SASE ability also, because this is the ability of the Cortex X1. Then it leaves us the options D, that helps the MSP accelerate troubleshooting and meet the SLA. So then the answers for questions number 3 is D, and let me show you the ability of the SASE solution. So we have this Prisma SD1 predictive analytic dashboard. The SD1 predictive analytic provide deep observability to the health of sites and application, and proactive monitor, identify critical issue, and troubleshooting them faster, thus enhancing the service levels. With this information, the answers for the questions number 3 is alright, and the answer is D. Let's discuss the question number 4. The question number 4 will be about the domain tree architecture and planning, and the question is follows: how does the Palo Alto Networks Secure Access Service Edge or SASE solutions enable zero trust in a customer environment? The options are A, it stop attack that use DNS for command and control or data theft. Or B, it feeds threat intelligence into an automation engine for rapid and consistent protections. Or C, it classifies sites based on content, features, and safety. Or D, it continuously validates every stage of digital interaction. As we know that the zero trust is the terms for never trust and always verify. Then from these options, we can check each options. Option A, it stop attacks that use DNS for command and control of data theft. No. It feeds threat intelligence into an automation engine and rapid consistent protection. No. Classify site based on content, feature, and safety. No too. And the last one is continuous validate every stage of digital interaction. And the answer is D. Let me show you here. The Palo Alto Networks CTNA 2.0 using Prisma Access, secure access for all application infrastructure, provide continuous verification and security inspection, protect all data, and enables you to create security policy that enforce consistent least privilege access across all use cases. Then the answer for the question number 4 is D. It continuously validates every stage of digital interaction. Let's discuss the questions number 5. The questions number 5 still about the domain tree architecture and planning. And the question is follow: What are two-way service connections and remote network connections differ? Choose two. The options are followed. A. Remote networks connections provide secondary WAN options, but service connection use backup service connections for redundancy. Or B. Remote networks connections enforce security policy, but service connections do not. Or C. An on-premise resource cannot originate a connection to the internet over service connections. Or D. Service connections support both OSPF and BGP for routing protocols, but remote networks support only BGP. To answer this question, we can review the options. From the options A, the remote network connections provide secondary WAN options. This is not the feature for the remote network connection, so this is not the answer. And B, remote network connections enforce security policy, but service connections do not. This is the answer because the SPN or security processing node is the remote networks or the mobile user connection. And the C, an on-premise resource cannot originate a connection to the internet over a service connection. This is also the answers because the service connection only receive traffic from the mobile users or from the remote networks. So it left the D, not the answers. Yeah, we have source B and C. This is exactly the same with the information from the Palo Alto website that it allows the managed policy centrally from Panorama for consistent streamlined security for your remote network location. So we can enforce the policy on the security policy to the remote networks, and then the connection to the internet, the service connection do not support language localization because egress to the internet is not supported over service connection. So the answer for the questions number 5 is correct. That is B and C. The questions number 6. The questions number 6 is still about the architecture and planning. And the question is follows. Which two actions take place after Prisma SD-WAN installed on networks or EON devices have been deployed at the site? Choose two. The options are follows. A. The device continually sync the information from directories, whether they are on premise, cloud-based, or hybrid. Or B. The device establish VPN over private WAN circuit that share a common service provider. Or C. The device automatically establish a VPN to the data centers over every internet circuit. Or D. The device provide an abstraction layer between the Prisma SD-WAN controller and a particular cloud service. Which option that we can choose? So we need to check the study guide. We can check here. We have the point of the architecture of the Prisma SD-WAN, and on the Prisma SD-WAN architecture it says that the Prisma SD-WAN provides software-defined wide area networks or SD-WAN solution that transform legacy wide area networks into a radical simplified and secure application fabric. So it is simplified the architecture, and then the Prisma SD-WAN utilize a centralized control-based model, enable simple deployment at remote office and data center. This answers the question for the number 6 that we can choose. One of the answer is C. We back to the study guide and we check here on the SD-WAN controller. We can enable secure automate virtual private network channels using zero-touch configuration process. Then this feature basically will automate and establish VPN connections to the data center app using a free internet circuit. Then the answers is C and D. Next, the questions number 7. The questions number 7 will be about domain 4, demonstrations and evaluations. And the questions is follows: which two prerequisites must an environment meet to onboard Prisma Access mobile users? Choose 2. And the options are follows: A. Zoning must be configured to require a user ID for the mobile user trust zone. Or B. Mapping of trust and untrust zones must be configured. Or C. BGP must be configured so that the service connections networks can be advertised to the mobile gateway. Or D. Mobile users subnet and DNS portal name must be configured. To answer these questions, we need to check each of the options. Option A, zoning must be configured to require a user ID for the mobile user trust zone. We do not need to enable the user ID because it is by default will always identify the user ID from the authentication of Global Protect. And B, mapping of trust and untrust zones must be configured. We can check the prerequisite that we need to define the zone that we have to trust or untrust zone, because the Prisma Access only have 2 zones. So we can choose these options. And then C, BGP must be configured so that service connection networks can be advertised to the mobile gateways. We do not need to enable the BGP for service connection. We can use the static route for the service connection. And the mobile user subnet and DNS portal name must be configured. Is also the answers, because we need to define the pool IP or subnet for the mobile users and define the portal name. We can check this from the knowledge base that for the zone mapping, the Prisma Access only have 2 zones, trust and trust zones, and we can map each of the zones that we have to untrust or trust zones. Then the other prerequisite is to specify the IP address pool or mobile user subnet to onboard the Prisma Access mobile user, and define the portal hostname so that we can access the gateways on the portal. Then now we understand the prerequisite to onboard the Prisma Access mobile users, and the answers for questions number 7 is B and D. Next, let's discuss the questions number 8. The questions number 8 will be about domain 5, network security best practice. And the questions is follows: in which step of the 5-step methodology for implementing the Zero Trust models are the service most valuable to the company defined? The options are follows. A. Step 2. Map the transaction flows. Or B. Step 4. Create the Zero Trust policy. Or C. Step 5. Monitor and maintain the networks. Or D. Step 1. Define the protect surface. To answer these questions, we need to know the 5-step methodology. Here we have the 5-step methodology to implementing the Zero Trust. The first one is a step to define the protect surface. In the protect surface, we need to identify the critical environment to operate of the business. Then this define the protect surface will be most critically to identify which asset that we need to protect. Step 2, map the transaction flow. In this step, we need to understand the transaction to and from the protect surface, and we can implementing the Zero Trust. And the step 3, we need to architect the Zero Trust networks. Once the transaction flows is well understood, now we can define the actual zone schemes or the proper inline control and threat prevention to the Zero Trust architecture. Then step 4 is to create the Zero Trust policy. After we design the Zero Trust architecture, we can enforce the policy. This policy will be involve the use of the Kipling method to establish the who, what, why, when, and where, and how the policy works. Then last steps or step 5 is to monitor and maintain the networks. Then we back to the questions. So which steps of the 5-step methodology that are most valuable to the company to define? Then the answers will be D. The most valuable is to define the protect surface. By defining the protect surface, we can understand how our networks or how our environment need to be protected. That's it. The answer for the question number 8 is D. Okay, that concludes our training for today. I hope you found this overview of PSE Professional SASE exam topics helpful. Be sure to check out 591lab.com for more online course, practice exams, and training materials to continue your certification preparations. You can also visit www.591search.com to learn more about our full suite of services. And thanks for joining today's class, and I wish you the best of luck on your certification today. See you next time.